Is it working?
I think it's live. It
It
says it's
says it's
live.
live. Let's see. I don't see anything. It looks like we're live. All right, we're live. We're officially live. Okay, three, two, one. This is Josh from Backyard Productions, giving you the finest of Batman, Superman, and more in pop culture. I forgot what I was supposed to say in these intros since it's been a while. We're gonna go in order. So I'm Josh.
I'm Tony.
I'm Jerry, your Green Lantern from Ola. I might lag out because I'm having slight Wi-Fi issues from the storm yesterday. Still,
Oh, okay.
I keep seeing a dinosaur flash. So
Yeah, I do. Do you have dinosaurs there in Tennessee?
coincidentally, there is a house like from the dude who invented Crocs. He's like 40 minutes down the road,
Really?
and I've passed by his house, and he has like giant statues of dinosaurs.
No, that's
That's cool
pretty
as hell.
cool. Okay. There's actually like some guy right by my work who owns like dinosaurs, but they're definitely not going to be as cool as that. But there's like a triceratops like in his forest or something. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff. He's got a Triceratops. I think he's got a Brachiosaurus. I think maybe even like a pterodactyl, like mounted on his lawn, like
Right.
it looks like it's getting ready to take off in a flight.
That's sick.
That is cool. So we're gonna go into BSBS, which is bullshit, Batman, Superman, pop culture news or whatever. I just wanted to start out with right off the bat, just giving my salute to James Earl Jones, passed away
Yes,
really
yes.
recently. I think he was 93 years old, so he definitely had like a long lasting legacy that will definitely carry on. But it's definitely a hard hit, but he definitely had a full life. But I just want to give my condolences.
Yeah, he. I meant to text you guys about that, but that was one of those celebrity deaths that really. And if you follow a celebrity for a long time and they're in a bunch of projects, it'll always hit home. But he was literally the voice of generations
Yeah,
of
for real.
people, all the way from you being Mufasa and Lion King. He was in Star Wars, obviously as the voice of Darth Vader, and to just so many other, iconic roles. It was a very weird day trying to not watch, old re-uploaded clips of his voice and not being like, wow, I forgot he was even in this.
Yep.
Yeah, it made me right after I heard of his passing. I watched that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, the first episode, and he like does
Oh,
the
yeah.
Raven
Yeah.
Yeah.
narration in that, and then he has like a few voice like cameos, but it's like so
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool that he's like in like so many different features.
Yeah. Spots you never expect. I remember my dad showing me Coming to America when I was like in
Yeah,
my teens because he grew up on those movies and it's just like,
oh,
oh,
that's
that's
cool.
it's crazy just to see.
Yeah,
It's iconic in so many different roles.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly.
And everybody, who knew him always had the best of things to say about him. And I even went back and saw the old Big Bang Theory clip where he's ringing Carrie Fisher's doorbell and then hiding in the bushes. And it was funny because they never had met each other in person. It was just
Wow.
they were in
Yeah.
boots.
Huh.
So it was one of those things like, oh, they finally get to see each other. I mean, obviously, if they hadn't made time anywhere after, the movie was done.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even know they did that in Big Bang Theory. I never really
That's
watched that
funny.
show. But yeah, that actually makes me want to watch just that clip at least.
Yeah, it's nice because and she comes out there and she's like, I know you're out there. I know you're the one ringing my doorbell, James. And he just laughs and he says, I'm not here right now. It's just, it was a very, funny and touching clip.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I definitely have to find that. Yeah,
But
they surprisingly had like really good cameos. I wasn't really a fan of the show, but they definitely had like Adam West and like they definitely had their hits.
yeah. I don't have much news. I mean, I'm probably late to the game. So I recently went and saw Beetlejuice 2.
Oh,
And
okay.
I guess I'll get into that after what I have to say. But I saw that they finally put out the trailer for the last Venom movie, Last Dance. And I'm a little bit surprised because they're introducing King Null from the symbiote homeworld as the villain this time, which really threw me off because I'm like, at no point have y'all ever really hinted at Null going to be in the movies, which I think is cool because it's cool that because he's one of the more recent additions to the Marvel comics. I thought that was something really nice to see. But even still, after that, I was some of the action scenes were really just violent and gory, and I'm like, oh, where was this in the last movie where you have Carnage, who's somebody who will literally rip someone apart and use their entrails as spaghetti? So I think we're finally going to get that rated R or like that PG-13 as close.
It has to be rated R. That's the only way these movies could be any good.
Yeah.
I haven't even
But-
seen the last two.
I haven't seen either of them.
Yeah.
Carnage was, for what it was, Carnage was good.
Okay.
But I think this one's definitely going to be what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Because this is just my own personal guess, but I think at the end of this movie at some point they'll introduce anti-Venom or Agent Venom.
Yeah, that would
That'll be, the next incarnation.
Yeah, because that's like the next kind of famous-ish one.
Mm-hmm. And then, as I said, I went to go see Beetlejuice 2. For being a sequel that's coming so late in the, in the cycle of movies 30 plus years who haven't had one, I enjoyed it a lot. It still kept a lot of the same weirdness, still a lot of the same charm.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton still did not miss a beat in any capacity.
That's cool.
It was just like watching the first one, but modernized, which I guess would be the appropriate way to describe it. Because they did, a lot of callbacks. They did a callback to the original married couple who were in the house that Lydia Beats was living. Her family moved into. They even made mention to the Sandworm. Of course, the movie's named Beetlejuice, but you see him a lot sooner now than in the first one,
Right.
which I did like because the name of the movie is Beetlejuice, so you obviously want to see him. But even still within that, the human aspect outside of what was paranormal, it was just as good, if not better, in my opinion.
That's cool. Yeah, I heard actually good things about it. It did make me want to watch it.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it. It's an enjoyable movie, even if you've never seen even if you haven't seen the first one in a long time.
Yeah. I saw it too. It was good.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there was some interesting. It was really good. There. The one thing that I thought was super interesting was, I don't know, the one. I don't know. I had some complaints, but I thought it was super funny. And then the shrunken head guys, they really went crazy with them.
Oh,
They were like a big part of the story now.
Okay.
Yeah, they were pretty important for once. And then we get to know a little bit more about Beetlejuice's background.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, I didn't know that I cared to see it, but I'm glad I did. It's one of those because it's like I never would have thought this person got into his situation because of this.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have
that's cool.
they have one pretty fun cameo right in the beginning. I'm not gonna say who it is, but I'm definitely glad that he was there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch it now.
It was
I
a fun movie.
wanna
I
watch
would give it a light recommendation if you were looking for something outside of the normal at the theaters to watch.
Yeah, I just want to watch some like light Halloween kind of ish movie.
Yeah, it's definitely this.
Yeah, it's definitely that. It'll get you in the mood.
That's cool.
If you have a Cinemark near you and you get a fountain soda, don't get the Beetlejuice Fanta soda. It's like it made me feel so sick.
What is
Oh, that
flavor
sounds
is it?
gross.
I don't know. It was really gross.
they
Don't
put
drink
actual
it.
Beatles in it?
I don't know. Don't drink it. I just want to throw that out there.
Is it true like Beetlejuice is in it for like 11 minutes or something like that? I think in the first movie.
In the
Yeah,
in
the
the
first
original movie, he
for,
showed
like-
up in like the 40th minute, and he's on screen. He's not really on screen. It's like about the couple. Like the
Yeah,
whole movie.
he's on screen for like 10 minutes or something crazy.
Yeah, he had minimal screen time back in the first one, but now he's basically he has a subplot involving himself and another character. So it's really interesting to see.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd watch that.
I have a couple BSs, but I don't know if they're relevant to anyone. So I'll mention the first one and see how that goes. Does anyone play Magic the Gathering?
I do actually.
I
I
know
don't
what
play.
it is.
I don't play Commander, but I've been hearing that a lot of people have been.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a new Commander ban list, and it's pretty interesting. That was my first BSBS.
Okay.
4 pretty huge cards got banned, so it's pretty interesting.
Wait, a card got banned?
4 of them got banned, and they were like only ever legal in Commander. So now they're like people are a little upset, especially because they were printed within the last year, and they're like, okay, so you print it and sell it, and people buy it, now it's banned.
So what do you do?
Yeah, because they have that agreement that they don't sell reruns in future packs.
Yeah,
So it's like once they make a run, that's it.
It's definitely interesting. The second BSBS from that is this morning I saw they're now doing Secret Lair, Magic the Gathering, Ghostbuster releases now.
What?
The first one is like a full Slimer Secret Lair, so it's all Slimer cards, and the second one is the real Ghostbusters, so it's the cartoon.
I'd like that one.
It's pretty sick.
Honestly, that's like when they did that Lord of the Rings collab.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everybody was trying to get the one ring because they only printed literally just one of it.
Yeah. Post Malone bought that for like $1 million.
He's fucking nuts. I have my own opinions about him, but he's fucking nuts.
Yeah, didn't he have it as a necklace? Like
He probably did.
Something ludicrous.
Yeah,
Absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, who would buy it? I can't.
Yeah. And then apparently the Penguin show is good. That's my last PS.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I
was talking with a coworker about it. He said he watched the first episode and it was really nice.
I heard you see Penguin naked. That's all I heard. I don't know. I saw a meme of that, and I was like, "Is this real?"
I hope he's naked.
I hope not. Especially like whatever they do to was it Colin Farrell?
Right?
Yeah, Colin Farrell, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy that's him.
Suit, so I don't know what they would do to him.
Apparently, I mean, it's an HBO show, and everyone's like saying it's kind of like The Sopranos. And I saw a little TikTok clip from it, and
that sounds interesting.
In the clip, I don't know if it's actually a callback intentionally, but like, do you remember the first episode of The Sopranos where he's like going to an appointment or something, and he sees someone that owes him money, and he like runs them off the road and like hits them. It's shot like exactly like that scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never watched The Sopranos, so that's.
Oh, you have to watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
Wow, Tony, you said Secret Lair, and I actually do have another bit of BS that I forgot about. So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Disney is apparently getting ready to pull the plug on the new Blade movie and another, I think, TV show or movie that was supposed to come out too. It's called Secret something. I don't remember what it was. And I'm like, so you waste all of our times saying we're going to get a new Blade with Mahershala Ali, only to get ready to cancel it after it's been stuck in production for, I want to say maybe 5 or so years now. And what are you doing? You didn't bring Wesley Snipes. You didn't bring Wesley Snipes back to come back as Blade. It took Ryan Reynolds making a phone call offering him a cameo and what he knew would be the easiest money-making choice of his career. Not saying that, Ryan Reynolds is a bad dude or he's a bad actor or Ryan Reynolds is a bad actor or a bad guy. It's just what are some of these choices that's happening?
Do you think the door's open now for him to come back now that he was in Blade? I mean, do you think if Disney backpedals and
Yeah,
says, "Hey, maybe,"
they're
I
probably doing
think
that.
so,
That's what I
just
would guess.
because it's, and I do still have my own reservations about some of the choices they made with Jonathan Majors, but I do think there's enough backpedaling and probably closed door whispers that it's on the table.
I would hope so.
I could see that. I could
Yeah.
definitely see that.
I never grew up on the Blade movies. I never got a chance to watch them. I've always
I
like
haven't seen them either. We
thought the
have-
character design was sick, and I've always like wanted to watch the movies. I need to watch them at some point. I would
Yeah,
love
they've been on
to
my
be
list too.
reintroduced through the Marvel universe to Blade, and then have that, and then have
Blade is freaking great.
Yeah, that's been on my list for a while. Is those Blade movies? I have a lot on my list.
But
Oh,
don't
I have
think
one. I have one more piece of news. If you guys,
I think I'm done. I don't think I
Yeah.
have anything else.
so there's a speaking of HBO series, there's a Green Lantern show.
what the fuck.
And they just announced their Green Lantern, who's playing Hal Jordan, is Kyle Chandler. You'll know his face. Let me see if I could screen share.
Kyle Chandler?
Yeah, let's see this guy. Can you see my screen? No.
No.
Oh, you'll see it. Okay. Oh, it's so tiny. Let's see if we could hide you guys for. I don't even know if we could hear us.
Yeah, I couldn't hear us.
Well, that's the new Hal Jordan. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the people at home who couldn't hear us, but that's the guy. So I just wanted to announce that. Now we're totally out of order, but that's okay.
That's fine. I'm still in the middle, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh. He's been okay. I am a little familiar with him.
Yeah,
He's
I
been
know.
in a couple of things that I've seen.
Yeah, no, I know he was in that Super 8 movie. He was
Oh,
like
okay.
the dad.
Yeah, I recognize him from the 2005 King Kong.
He's in that movie? Oh yeah, he's the actor. I remember now.
What the hell?
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
I don't think he'd be a bad choice. I think he could do it.
Tony, what did you send us?
Oh, that's
Oh,
the
the
Secret Life.
Slimers. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I gotta copy that. It's not letting me copy it. I'll do it later. Yeah, that's all the BS. That's the last BS I have. That's I just wanted to mention that. The Green Lantern.
Yeah,
show.
I don't think I have anything more. Definitely the bit about Marshala Ali. That was the biggest one I had.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's bad, but like it kind of opens the window with Wesley Snipes, which is probably what they're gonna do. Especially how he said, "I'm the only Blade" or something in the movie. Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah.
That's Marshall Ali. Okay. Yeah, I know him from the Marvel show. He would have been a fucking awesome Blade. Yeah, I have not been following this enough.
He did. Yeah, he's really good.
He was like Cobra,
He was Cottonmouth in
Cottonmouth. Yeah.
Luke Cage's show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
really?
fucking awesome in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
that would have been sick.
Narration for some chimp documentary I've been watching. So, yeah. So I guess we'll move on. So we're gonna talk about what should we talk about first? Should we go in order, like relative order? I guess we will. Okay.
What's the order?
I mean, like from like chronological order, like from the timeline. So I guess we're gonna speak about Jason the Argonauts first. So, Tony, I want you to take this one.
So the movie like begins in ancient Greece. I don't remember any of the names.
That's okay.
There's this guy that's overthrowing the government. I think, right? Like he goes into a temple and he's trying to kill all of the. I'm trying to remember the beginning. I'm sorry, but he tries to kill all of the children of one person, and
Yes. Yeah.
and then he thinks he has, and he goes in there, and then he's like talking to the gods and saying that he has, and then this this lady comes out and says, no, you haven't killed Jason. Jason is here. He's protected, and he doesn't. So now Jason exists, and he has a vendetta against Jason, and then they find each other, and
He saves him from drowning.
he saves him from drowning. Yeah. And the man takes him into his camp and asks him what he's doing. Who are you? And he tells him, I'm Jason. I'm looking for. He said he was on a journey to do something.
He's
To
looking
over
for the
to
Golden Fleece. And
the Golden Fleece. And the guy does not reveal himself, and he eventually is brought to is it Olympus, or he's brought to the gods? Are they at Olympus?
I think they're at Olympus.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
at Olympus.
He finds Hermes. Was it Hermes? Someone. I think it was Hermes. Hermes. Yeah. And then
Oh yeah, it was Hermes. Yeah.
and he's kind of saying like, "Oh, I don't believe in the gods." And Hermes kind of like jokes with him and questions him and takes him to go see Zeus. No, is it Zeus?
Yeah, it was Zeus.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really bad with my mythology. Like really, really bad. If you couldn't tell, I love God of War Ragnarok. I still had no idea what was going on. And then I think he tells his plan to Hermes, and is very cocky, or not Hermes he tells his plan, very cocky, and kind of basically denies help before he's questioned, and then accepts help and is given five opportunities to ask the other goddess for help, Hera, and then he goes back to Earth and acquires a group, which is Hercules, this other guy that works with Hercules. I don't know his name, but he's training with Hercules, and he's a little wittier. He does the thing where he throws the discus and it skips over the rock.
Yeah, no, that was kind of clever. I like that.
Yeah, and then Snake in the Grass, and then they go on this adventure and fight puppets to go find the Golden Fleece.
Yeah, basically. That's basically the movie. Yeah. Yeah, so this is I seen this movie maybe a few times, and like I always got it mixed up in my brain with Clash of the Titans. I would like mix up the plot lines together, like, oh, is this the movie with Hercules? Or is it Clash of the Titans with Hercules? Is this the one with Pegasus? Or is it Clash of the Titans? So like it kind of like gets mixed up in my brain. But I feel like the movie like really starts when Jason like assembles his crew. It's like the first time they have the Olympics, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then they're like on their voyage, and then once you see Talos and like how menacing and how gigantic this puppet is,
giant puppet.
Yeah, you're like, oh my, like I'm still like amazed on how they did it, like with the hand, like there's close up of the hand, and then they're like in the background, like all the live action, actual actors are there, and like how they're integrated with the puppet, and like this is all Ray Harryhausen work.
Yeah,
I'm surprised we never talked about a Ray Harryhausen movie before, because it's always like something. Like I have all these like little figurines of like Ray Harryhausen characters. So I'm like, how did we not talk about Ray Harryhausen?
We had to have. There's no way we haven't.
I don't think we have.
I don't believe that for a second. I'm going through his IMDb.
Yeah, but this is considered one of his best films, the little puppetry films that he worked on. He's not the director, but like, his puppets make the movie. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
And like the even the sound of like Talos and stuff, like that really sells the character. It's like the sound design. It's like, wow, It's like all encompassing.
That is something that I really did enjoy was all of the puppetry. Like obviously, this was filmed back in the '60s, so I'm not so used to seeing this because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so you've seen this movie before?
I think like in an art class we
Okay.
watched like a clip,
That's
just because we were working with clay.
Yeah.
It might have been something else, but it definitely had like '60s puppeteering going on.
Okay.
And I want to say it might have been Clash of Titans because, like, I do remember vividly, it might have been one or the other.
Yeah.
But yes, it does look a little bit silly, but thinking on it, past viewer enjoyment, there is a lot of moving parts that they got really good with it.
Yeah.
And obviously, if they would have had maybe another 10, 15 years of advanced, videography, it would have looked a lot smoother than what it was. But again, you can't fault them for it because that is a part of the charm of it.
Right.
And I really, one of my favorites had to have been watching, Talos's head turn and then watching the body just, and it was exactly like, a machine. He was getting up and moving very, slow and robotically.
Like Terminator or something.
Until he got fully on the ground. He was all organic. And I'm like, oh, that was really neat to see. I thought they might, do a cutaway and then, cut back to him and he's, fully standing and with his sword drawn, ready to attack Hercules and other dumb guy. I can't remember.
I forget his name too.
I liked when in the Talos fight. I don't know why, but when they cut Talos's ankle, it really reminded me. I don't know why. I just immediately just thought of the game Shadow of Colossus. Like when you like hit their weak points and it just gushes blood.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I could see,
honestly,
I could see a lot of video games that are like, other pieces of media be inspired by like Ray Harryhausen creatures.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, yeah.
And like so many filmmakers say, like Ray Harryhausen like inspired them with this and that. Like Peter Jackson's one of them.
Yeah.
I know Tim Burton.
I'm sure,
boasts about him. Well, obviously, Sam Raimi, which is what we're going to talk about for the next movie.
Yeah.
And the skeleton fight is obviously like the awesome, like perfect climax, like with 7 skeletons.
Yeah.
And how they did that choreography and everything. I know we're just kind of like skipping to the puppetry, but that's like the best part.
That was really that was great. I'm not saying the movie was boring, but that's definitely the parts where you're like, oh, this is where all the budget went right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could like tell when it was like at that era when it was a Ray Harryhausen puppet or like some guy in a costume. Like that was like the difference, And like before CGI, they had Ray Harryhausen like puppetry.
I think honestly, I enjoyed the Hydra more than the skeletons. Not that I think
the Hydra was cool.
The Hydra was funny. I liked how it was
first scene where the Hydra comes in. I'm like, oh, that's because trying to do all that with a puppet.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, so, with there's like 7 heads, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 7. I thought it might have been. It's a more
like
than
5 or 7. Yeah,
yeah. And I'm like, oh, really? Just having everybody on point and knowing the right cues and signals for this, that was really impressive.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of choreography with that as well. And then,
I mean, definitely the skeletons is top tier, but I think the Hydra could be an immediate replacement.
I think with the choreography blows me away with the skeletons more than the Hydra, but the Hydra's like a more menacing, interesting looking creature. Like skeletons are just skeletons, but just how they're interacting with like the sword fighting and like they're jumping around and like a guy gets stabbed by a skeleton, it all looks kind of like seamless. Like
having a couple puppets on screen at once is like crazy.
Yeah. Like there's a documentary about like Ray Harryhausen. That's how kind of I dove into like all these movies. I watched that and I was like, wow, this guy's fucking amazing. And he done so many movies. he worked with like Willis O'Brien, who did like the original King Kong. So like he kind of shadowed him, and then he kind of took on his own. And Clash of the Titans is a movie that was made in the 80s. So it was like even like old school then. They're like it was like a throwback movie. So like this Jason and the Argonauts is in the 60s, so that's like 20-year difference. And
Yeah.
you know, it's almost like a nostalgia trip for Clash of the Titans. But like it's yeah, it's definitely like a really good movie. I like Jason as the protagonist, you know, like he's definitely like has a heart of gold. The main villain, I forget his name, but he's pretty good. And like his son who betrays him like within his crew. Like I kind of like that turn of events and like how the Hydra kills him, you know, and you think Jason's gonna like have a confrontation with the crew member who like backstabbed him, but instead like it's the Hydra, and the Hydra already killed that guy, like he's nothing compared to him at that point. And I loved when you know, they're kicking the skeletons off the cliff and they just throw dummies. Like
That was my favorite part of the whole thing.
Great.
I like when the Hydra's like when you first see the Hydra, it's like just ragdolling a dummy,
Yeah.
and then it just cuts to a shot of like a real guy like wrapped up with in the Hydra's tail.
Oh yeah, when he turns into a puppet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah. Oh, what was the other thing? There was the Golden Fleece. The Golden Fleece looked like a really good prop, and until
Looked
like
very Khaleesi.
yeah, until it wasn't glowing anymore. Then it just looked like a brown rag. But like when it was first glowing, it looked pretty good. And the interactions with Jason and the gods, like the perspective where he looks like really small, it's definitely like still
That was
effective.
cool.
Like all the effects are still effective. Like you know what they're trying to portray. Like it might be a little cheesy, but like it's exactly like what they're going for, and the effect.
Yeah. I really
you're
liked
still impressed.
the boat. Like
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
boat scene where they get to the clashing rocks. I thought that was cool because you know we see them obviously in like the puppet stand, but all the way, you know, on the other side we see a real boat that's actually
Yeah, that
you
was
know, they're having rocks and everything crash on them.
yeah. I gotta say, when yeah, and then that boat sinks, and then they rescue that damsel in distress. I don't even remember her name, and then
Perseus's wife.
yeah. Well, and then they like cuts to that like dance scene. I thought that dance scene was a little too long, and I was like wondering what you guys were thinking.
it felt like I thought I was watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, I could see that. I could.
I
See
don't
I
know
was
why.
looking at it and I was like, okay, I don't really care, but okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it was
Like it wasn't bad, but I didn't care about it. You know,
It felt out of place for
I just
everything
thought
we've
it was a
seen in the
little
movie.
too long. I was like, okay.
because that was like how they always kept not flashing, but you know, cutting to the harpies when they were in the cage and stuff.
Oh, the harpies. We didn't even talk about that yet.
I was like, okay, I love the fact, you know, seeing the harpies interact with blind Phineas. I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, it's almost like seeing, you know, early framework for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But I'm like, okay, I'm done with the harpies. I think they're an interesting mythological creature. I don't care nothing about them on screen if they're not killing or being killed.
I don't know. I thought they looked really interesting. I was like pretty.
Yeah, they looked really nice, but I'm used to more of like the high fantasy where harpies are like assassins, and I was, you know, not expecting them to be trapped, which I knew was going to happen, but I'm just used to seeing harpies in a different light.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. I think the harpies was like as effective as they needed to be. Like they're tormenting that blind guy. They're stealing all his food. Like I felt just so bad for that guy.
He was, and he said to Zeus, he's like, "Damn it, I might be a sinner, but I did not sin every day, you asshole." And I like that he really was like, "You're just doing this because you're a dick."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what all like Greek mythology is. It's just like the gods like toying with these like you know, people and these heroic characters and just kind of testing them and like I'll fuck with him here. Oh, I'll help him out here. You know, it's
you see this whole movie. In the end, it's like the big reveal. It's like just a chess game.
Yeah,
between the two of them.
He's like, oh, now I've got my son Hercules about to embark on what was it? His 10 trials he had to do, or
Yeah, I think that's when he has to like
You
fight
got
the Minotaur and the
yeah,
lion.
the Minotaur, the Nemean lion, Cerberus,
Yeah.
and just
I thought it was cool that Hercules was in it, but he
I
wasn't
was
like
not
the main
expecting that.
protagonist.
Yeah.
He
I
was
thought
like,
that was a very weird shout out to do.
Yeah, I thought it
because
was
his,
cool.
if you get a little bit deeper into Greek mythology, like the epic tale of Hercules is just as good as Jason and the Argonauts or Percy Jackson, and it was like, oh, that's very interesting to see. I guess, in my opinion, like two of the big epic Greek mythology names,
Yeah.
on the same ship together.
Yeah, it was cool. Like it was like in it enough where you're like, oh yeah, that's Hercules, but like he's like, and he serves a purpose, and like he's the reason why the whole crew gets like
Why they
damned.
get boned.
Yeah, exactly. Because would he take like a
He took like a brooch or something.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
something real stupid.
yeah, and he was like, this will be a perfect javelin, and then that's when Talos comes out and like tries to kill him because it's like the gods, just
God's
not even
fury.
like not even like gold or anything. It's just like their common tools.
It's like their jewelry.
Yeah, exactly. And the only thing, like how Jason uses like a spear to like hook like the unspin like Talus's ankle, his like
Yeah.
Achilles. I thought he was gonna like the only thing I would change is like he uses the pin that like that one breaks, and then he has to use that pin that Hercules.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. I've been like,
Yeah.
it's slight poetic justice. They told you not to steal, but the item
Right.
you stole
Like,
saved your life.
Yeah, save the
Mhm.
day. Yeah, exactly. That was the only thought I had. I'm like that. Then it would have kind of like
It would have been a
like,
nice full circle.
yeah, exactly. It would have kind of connected everything, but they didn't do that, and it's not like any fault. It's just like such a minor nitpick. It's just like something
just
I
like,
thought of.
Something we think now, but I'm sure back then nobody. Well, I'm not going to say nobody, but not as many people would probably say that like we would.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only thing I would probably change about this movie, but that's not really anything. So you guys have final thoughts on Jason and the Argonauts?
I'm slightly familiar with some of the Greek epic tales, just from having to read it, for projects, having to do it for book reports. So this was a nice way to go back and revisit something I haven't thought about literally since I was in school.
That's cool.
Seeing the puppets and the animations was really, really nice. It's always good to see, classic animation techniques before we got so big into computer generation, which, you can still do it, but it's not going to have the same charm like it did back then. Like, yes, some things did look cheesy, but because it was cheesy, you learned to appreciate it more. Jason and the Argonauts, I'd definitely give it, like a 7.5. I would show it in school, like in art class, just so they know, like, this is what we used to do back in the day for, like filming and things like that. Just used as a teaching tool.
Yeah, I can see that. Tony, what do you think?
I'd give this movie an 8. I don't know why. I feel like I've always heard about this movie. I've always known about it. I don't know why. I feel like I've seen the skeleton scene before.
That's a really famous scene.
It's probably big in pop culture. It was good to have finally seen this, and I'm not very familiar with the Greek epics. I just I know of the Odyssey and played God of War, so it was nice to have gotten like a little piece of it in this movie. So I give it like an 8. It's a very 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 impressive for the time in the puppetry. Good, very classic story.
I definitely agree with Tony. I'd give it an 8 as well. The puppetry is amazing. Obviously, Ray Harryhausen. And like he said, like in one of his interviews, that like stop motion has that dreamlike quality where it's like not quite real, but it's like real enough where it just looks like it's like you're in a dream, And I definitely agree with that. And I wish more movies of today didn't have to overly rely on CGI. Don't get me wrong, I like CGI, I like CGI characters, but like I think there is room for like a stop motion monster integrated with live action of today, and you could make it look amazing today. Like you could make it very like seamless, you know,
Yeah, I
very
agree.
No, I agree 100%. And it's, it's like we said, computer generation was the next step, you know, formatically for, animation and things like that. But, going back and, doing something an old school way won't necessarily hurt or take away from anything. And to be truthful, you could always use it as a means to go hand in hand with some things. Just because, like always having to animate an arm or something around a character, it would be way easier to do with like, okay, here's a physical puppet. So you have your focal point. Nothing's going to look off. You don't have to worry about all these extra colors and shadings that you have to do. I definitely understand what you mean by that.
yeah. I think it depends on the movie too, like what you're trying to go for.
Yeah.
But okay, so we're gonna move on. I know we had like two kind of meaty projects that we're gonna talk about. Not too long, but still two movies. So, Jerry, would you like to take on Army of Darkness?
So Ash J. Williams is in medieval Europe with some crazy knight looking dudes and some other ragamuffins who they're being accused of witchcraft and they're being thrown down a hole with an actual demon. And Ash tells them, "Hey man, you got the wrong guy. I'm not doing. I don't know these people." And then times ensue. So it just gets a little bit crazier because they're, I guess you could call them cleric or alchemist, mystic, I guess. No,
Yeah.
mystic, yeah. Their mystic says if you want to go back to your time, you have to go get the Book of the Dead. And when you do it, say these words exactly, or it's going to be heck in a hamster ball because you have doomed us all, which he inevitably does. And along the way, when he does it, he's unleashed a curse upon himself and he inadvertently creates a deadite version of himself who leads his army of the undead to fight Ash's mortal army to keep the Necronomicon so Ash can get back to his timeline. And also within that, he has a small fling with a medieval woman who becomes another deadite host who later gets cured and Ash kills him. He Ash defeats himself, his evil twin.
Right.
I had to choose my words carefully. He defeats his evil twin and manages to get back to his normal timeline, where once again he's telling people how he became a king, and also essentially re inviting the Deadites back to the world because he misspoke the simple words again. And he uses a shotgun in a department store where he works in to kill it. Go Henry the Red.
Yeah, Henry the Red. Yeah. Yeah. So this is Evil Dead 3, basically. Originally, Sam Raimi wanted to call it the Medieval Dead, but I guess the studio didn't agree with that, which I kind of like. I kind of like the Medieval Dead.
I would love that.
Yeah. And like it has, I forget how this movie was like picked up by Universal somehow, so like they didn't have like the rights to Evil Dead. It's like pretty convoluted, like the rights between Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. But the whole recap is like half of it is from Evil Dead 2, and then half of it's like new footage. I think it's because they
Yeah.
wanted like less gore in it or something. Because I think they're striving for a PG-13 rating, but the rating bureau basically still gave them a rated R rating for whatever reason. Because I mean, so this movie's just like really cheesy. It's funny. I feel like Bruce Campbell figures out like his Ash character, like he knows like what he is at this point, and his interaction with like these medieval, this medieval culture and like these people who are like primitive comparatively to him is probably the best parts. And like he's still an idiot. Like he's like incompetent and he's stupid and he's dumber than anybody from the past. But like he actually high and mighty against whoever he interacts with. But he's really the dumbest person in the room. But
Yeah.
that's
nobody really calls him for his bullshit.
No.
I love if you guys could piece together what he's saying is just a bogus lie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was like talking about chemistry and he had no idea what he was talking about. Oh, I thought that was really funny. And I mean, he took like what was it, like chemistry like textbook, and that's how
he showed him how to make dynamite.
Yeah, yeah. They were making gunpowder and dynamite, and they use like they Frankenstein his the classic his like his car into like a tank at the end of the movie. But
they did do that.
So Jerry, I wanted to ask you last year we watched Evil Dead 2, and that was your first time seeing that, and now you're seeing the third one. Well, now we'll have to go back to the first one. But like, how do you kind of compare these two movies? Like, how would you describe it? Because they're different flavors.
I definitely like how they did the shots in 3 better than 2, but I like how in 2 it was more of Bruce Campbell essentially telling you what was going on in a locked cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a few characters and then him, and then once everybody else is dead, he's like, okay, where are you now, you invisible thing I can't hurt? Which I think was, for that movie, that was the best way to tell it, because he's in that cabin with his girlfriend, the Necronomicon gets unleashed and everyone becomes a deadite, and he eventually gets sent back to the medieval times. But what I really liked about this compared to the other is, the second one still has, great shots, and I'm not taking that away. But for me, seeing, especially toward the end, the big battle between good Ash and Deadite Ash was, just how much they really put into the production of, like, oh, here's like real explosions going off. Here's, skeletons looking at each other like, am I going to die? And even when they brought in the battering ram to the castle gate and they were like, all right, get ready to, bolt and attack. Somewhat similar to Jason and the Argonauts when they were fighting the skeletons. You could really tell, like, oh, they knew just the right ways to position it. So, yeah, it looks like this guy really got clobbered in the collarbone with the sword, or these 2 zombies just got hit by some flying debris from an explosion that happened. Or even when Ash was in the cabin and he had to deal with his smaller personas and they essentially tied him up. I thought, that was another really good shot. So it's, just different things that happened along the way that I liked better as far as the scenes and how they were shot in this one compared to 2.
What's that movie where it's like the regular sized man who gets tied up by like
Gulliver's Travels?
Yeah, Gulliver's Travels. I wanted to say Gilligan's Island, but I knew that was wrong.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, Gulliver's Travels. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely like a throwback to that. And I mean, it's like Sam Raimi like took like elements from like different aspects. Like you could definitely feel like there's some like Three Stooges like slapstick in here.
Yeah. With the eye poke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm blind. I'm blind.
Yeah, especially that point. Exactly. Yeah, with the skeletons like poking him in the face and like punching him. You know, it's just like Sam Raimi on the sideline just beating up Bruce Campbell. That's like that was the most fun he was having. He just like beat the shit out of his friend for both of these movies. Well, all three of
Oh yeah, he man, he beat the crap out of him.
them. Yeah. Well, then like in the second one, he's flipping around, and this he's like flipping over a horse and like
throwing him
down
into
a
trees
mountain.
and shit.
Yeah.
Throwing him into walls.
Oh yeah, and there's obviously like the connection. The reason why I picked both these movies, you know, with the Army of the Dead at the end, with like they still had some stop motion puppetry. They used like every like arsenal that they had at that time. They used stop motion with the skeletons. They used puppets, and then they used like people in costumes. Like I think they used women because they were a little smaller stature. That they like looked a little skinnier and could fit in like a skeleton costume more than like a man. So like they had like all these elements to like make this army work. Like it looks cheesy, but like it works for the movie. And then especially at the end where Bruce Campbell, like literally it's just Sam Raimi throwing skeletons, dummy skeletons at him, like from the like off camera, and he's just like cracking them in half and like throwing them around. And it's just like it looks so stupid, but that's because it is. It's just like the director throwing a fake skeleton at him.
Yeah, that really was something great because I was like, man, they really hit every button. Because when they were doing the puppeteering for the skeletons, I was like, this has to be the highlight of somebody's day.
Yeah.
Having a skeleton dig up a ditch for dig up a grave for another skeleton.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that you just laugh about.
Exactly.
I wonder, I could just picture just like an executive from Universal on set, just like going and just, like, you know, sitting in for a day and watching them shooting and being like, what the fuck is this movie we're paying for?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could definitely see them. They probably did. I would be surprised if they didn't, honestly. Yeah, I think that was a problem. Like, no one knew what was this movie, and like when it was distributed, you know, I think it was distributed through Universal. The other movies were like independently distributed through like just Sam Raimi, just getting funds from like grocery stores or whatever, like people, a dentist, you know, whoever would fund his movie, and like they would just get the like, you know, funding and like payback after they get their after they you know, send the movie out and everything. But this movie, they didn't know, there's like no connection to the Evil Dead franchise called Army of Darkness. So like people who like knew that it was an Evil Dead 3 movie were like very underground, like just knew within their own like little circles, but like through the mass public, they're like, what the fuck is this, like Army of Darkness? And like I think it just kind of confused the audiences in the movie theaters. I think this movie bombed. I don't think it did very well in the movie theaters. But I think after like people knowing what Evil Dead is and like the cult classics and everything, like it like kind of had its resurgence like after DVD sales, but it took a while for it to kind of make its budget back.
Yeah, I can see that. This is definitely, you know, Evil Dead is definitely a weird set of movies.
Yeah, it is. It's like the first one has no connection to the second one really, because the second one's just a remake, and then the second one is like the continuation with the third one, but the third one has like callbacks to the second one with new footage, so it's like it's on its own thing. And then there's Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is like a combination of both, but they could only have like the Evil Dead rights, so they couldn't show any of the Army of Darkness stuff in it, which is weird. It's like a split timeline with everything, and like who distributed what and who has the rights to what, you know.
Now they have the remakes. The remake and
they have the remakes, and I showed my nephew like the newest remake. We went to the movie theater, and he was like 12. he was pretty young, and I was like, oh, this is not Ash Williams.
My girlfriend hated it. I remember
Yeah.
talking to her after, and she was like, "I would have walked out if you didn't want to watch the movie. I hated it that
It was
much."
with the family and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. It
I
was.
didn't.
I
didn't-
liked it. She was just
Yeah,
like
I thought it was pretty
grossed out the whole time.
Did you see
Yeah,
it?
it was. It was one of those movies. I'm like, I rented it on Redbox. That's how I watched it. If
Mhm.
I had paid like actual money to see it, I think I would have left and asked for a refund
Yeah.
because it wasn't good in any capacity of the word, and it was like, oh, they're trying to make all these callbacks and things to the original Evil Dead, but it doesn't make any sense now.
Well, they had two
Yeah.
remakes. They had the one that's like a blatant remake, but it's like a horror movie, like they're in the cabin, and I haven't seen that one. And then they have another remake where it's like these siblings in a where are they in a apartment or some shit?
some kind of rundown apartment complex. They just happen
Oh
upon
yeah.
the dead.
You're talking about Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one
Yeah,
I saw. Yeah,
I haven't seen that one,
okay,
but I
that one
saw
was
the
pretty
other
decent.
one, and that one was
Yeah,
awful.
Yeah.
I
To
still
me,
haven't
like
seen that.
Evil Dead is like you can't really do it without Bruce Campbell. So
That's
it's
how
like
I
kind of strange that they use the name.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's how I feel. Like he's the whole franchise. Like
Yeah,
without him, like what is it? It's nothing.
because in that first remake, when the sister gets that chainsaw, I'm like, this is Ash's chainsaw arm. What are
Right.
you doing?
And they have like Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is a whole show. So like you definitely get like your fill of Evil Dead. Like if you wanted that character continued on, that show's really great for that. And
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, that show's really good. Like for me personally, I probably would have just rather them make a movie, but like it's just the show is so good and it's like longer than I would have got for a movie. Like it's like the perfect send off to the character, and like even though it's like 3 seasons long and it ends on a cliffhanger, it's like well, it kind of works because the other ones fucking ended
They
on a
always
cliffhanger,
end on a
and
cliffhanger.
so like it works for the whole show. Um, and I gotta say, did you guys see the original ending?
Yeah.
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 Okay, which ending did you get? You got
I got the one where he went
That's
back to his timeline and he's in the department store.
okay. Yeah.
I didn't
So
know there was another one.
yeah, there's an alternate ending, which was the original ending, where Ash, which I like this ending better.
I think it's
I wish
hilarious.
they used this one, where Ash like drinks too many droplets, so like he sleeps for too long, and he wakes up in like the year like 1,000 years after, and like the world is decimated. You know, like it's like Armageddon, and like he's the only sole survivor. You know, and it's like just like an apocalypse. You know, a complete apocalypse happened over the planet, and he wakes up. He's like, "I slept too long," you know, and then that's how the movie ends. And I find that so much funnier, and it works so much more with that character. You know, like
Oh, definitely.
and then he would
That's
just fuck up
hilarious.
like
I wish I would have seen that now.
yeah, I'll have to send it to you. It's definitely. I wish that's the ending they use, but like for the sake of like sequels and Ash versus the Evil Dead, you know, I'm glad there's more. But at the same time, like I think that's the better ending for Army of Darkness, you know. And I think they changed it because the studio was like, "What the fuck is this?" You know, like, so it's kind of the studio's fault, but like at the same time, kind of works out for more continuization. So it's like a weird timeline with the Evil Dead movies. They even kind of like talk about that with Ash versus the Evil Dead because they would like use characters from both the second one and the first one. Yeah, who weren't in, you know, who were not like connecting timelines with that, but they just didn't give a shit, which kind of works for the whole series. So.
That's great.
So yeah, what do you guys have final thoughts on Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness. It was a fun movie. This is definitely something that you play at a Halloween party.
Yeah,
It's campy. It's funny. It's got a little bit of horror-esque aspects to it.
Mhm.
it's that. I'm trying to think. It's just one of those Halloween party movies that you always have to play, no matter what. Because as cheesy as it is, it's still a great movie. And you're going to sit there and watch it and be like, now, see, why are you lying to these people knowing you're just using them to get back home? You just made your car into a mobile fortress, and now you want to swerve out of the way to avoid a woman who you know is a deadite just for the sake of it. And you told her, sorry, baby, this is just for pleasure or whatever the fuck he said.
Oh yeah, well it's all pill talk, baby, right?
Yeah, it's all pillow talk, baby. And I'm like, this is so fucking goofy. It's
love
just
that.
like watching the first Jason. It's like
yeah.
you couldn't put more cheese on this if you wanted.
He's like, give me some sugar, baby. He's saying all that. And he said like at a convention, someone came up to him and he said, give me some sugar in like Mandarin when he lived in China, and like he actually got laid that night. Like he told Bruce Campbell that story. Like Bruce Campbell like boasts about it. He's like, well, it works. Like the line works somewhere. So
I guess if it works, it works. I'm a little bit jealous. I never thought of it.
So what's your final rating?
I would give it this. I would definitely give this an easy 9. This is a hilarious movie. I completely forgot my rating.
That's cool. Okay, that's higher than I thought you would actually say. Well, so compared to like Evil Dead 2, like do you like this one a little bit more? Or?
I wouldn't say there's things that they did in this one that I do appreciate more.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say like I like this one overall better. Mm-hmm. Like, I enjoyed them both equally for different things. Okay, I get. And I might have rated the first one lower, but there was just things in here that they did that stuck out more, or I found more funny.
Yeah,
it was just like literally just an enjoyment.
I think that that's totally fair. I think the Ash character is definitely more fleshed out. Like Bruce Campbell kind of has more of a feel what this character is, so like I could understand that.
Oh yeah, if I see this on TV, I know. All right, let me go watch Evil Dead and get a good laugh in.
Tony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd probably give this a 9.5 maybe. Okay. I don't know, this movie. You introduced me to this universe.
Did I really?
Yeah. Wait, I had no idea what these movies were until it was like on TV in Newport, and you're like, oh, you don't know about Evil Dead? And then you made me watch one of them. And then
probably the second one.
And then you're like, oh, you don't know about Army of Darkness? And I was like, what the fuck? And then I watched it, and then I watched a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Wait, really? Wait,
I mean, it's a Looney Tunes cartoon.
It was like had no connection.
No, this movie feels like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Just with how goofy it is.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, it definitely has that feel.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I feel like I gotta be in the mood for it sometimes though, because then they get to the cabin and then the crazy stuff starts happening. I'm like, this is just too much. When his face gets socked into the book, and he just goes like, I am.
Oh yeah,
that's really fun.
It's just like,
I love the prosthetics for that too.
I forgot about that. That was good.
I also liked, this is a side topic, I like that he like picked the wrong book. Like there's 3 books and there's like a 33%, there's like the odds of him picking the wrong book twice is like pretty low, and they just so they could do more gags.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a great character, it's a great franchise, love it, not much more to say.
Yeah, I'd probably give this an 8. I'm like closer to a 9 than a 7, but like, yeah, I would probably give this movie an 8. The second one's definitely my favorite. This one, like, I think Sam Raimi had his like style kind of more down with like his camera angles and everything, like Jerry was saying. Bruce Campbell fleshed out this character more, but like just like the creativity with the second one, I think, is always going to be my overall favorite, and just like the simplicity of it too. Like this is the best moments is when Ash is with a medieval character, and then once he kind of goes off on his own, it's still fun. It's still funny, you know, like he's like getting attacked by mini ashes and all that. I just wish there was like a medieval character with him during that. Like it was like the Wizard of Oz or something. Like there was like Henry the Red, and then like I don't know, maybe King Arthur and like somebody else, like the wizard. I don't know, like you know, whatever. Not he's not a wizard, but like the wise man. Just like somebody like that he could play off of when he was like kind of out and about, like on his adventure. But I mean, that's like a minor nitpick because it's just like such a small moment, and it's so fun when he's getting attacked by himself and the evil Ash. So yeah, I give this an 8, a high 8, very high.
Yeah, this definitely watching it. I was like, this is like watching the Monty Python Quiz for the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Absolute shenanigans and tomfoolery at every turn. And I lived for every minute of it.
Well, that was Army of Darkness and Jason and the Argonauts.
Is it my picks now?
I don't know. Who's next?
I think it was me for the Halloween.
I gotta look back. We did Deadpool and Wolverine last. What did we do before that?
The Beetle, the Blue Beetle.
Yeah. So yeah, it is Tony.
Oh yeah, it is Tony. Okay.
I have my picks. I think I can share.
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah.
Do I go movie or short first? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
All right, we'll do short. I don't know if you guys have watched this show, but I used to read the comics and they were sick as hell. For Halloween, I kind of want to watch Tales of the Crypt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I want to watch
the Crypt.
You do?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I want to watch the episode What's Cooking. I haven't seen it, but it has Christopher Reeves and everyone loves it. So.
Oh, that's cool. I'm into that.
Yeah, and
I
then
didn't know he was in that.
For the movie, I'm thinking Dead Alive, the Peter Jackson, the first like big-ish Peter Jackson movie that's supposed to be insane.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to this.
I've heard it's really gory and it's shot in New Zealand. It's all on YouTube.
Oh, it is? Okay. It looked. I remember this cover, this poster.
Yeah, I grew up seeing that cover and being like, "What the hell is that?" And I've heard so many good things. I just need to watch it.
That's crazy. Okay. No, this is definitely gonna be good. I'm looking forward to both of these. Thanks for picking a Chris Reeve episode.
Yeah. I've heard that this is a sidetrack, but I've heard that documentary about him is really good.
Yeah, I have to watch that. I definitely heard good things about it. I've been reading his biography, and it's such a heavy read that like I can't get through it too fast. But like I feel like it's going to be like a lot of like kind of what he went through with that. But yeah, it's definitely very, very good. Yeah, I have to watch that. I'll probably watch it by next podcast, and I'll mention it during the BSBS stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So, look forward to those. Dead Alive and Tales from the Crypt. What's cooking? What's cooking? Good looking. And so okay, 3, 2, 1. This is Josh from Backyard Productions sending you off up and away until next Backyard's finest episode.
This is Jerry guiding you all with Green Lantern's light.
And this is Tony.
All right, because two friends, one episode at a time. Yay! Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Happy Halloween, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas.